So I chose my first subject, Eve Unsell, during the Hunger Games because she was from Kansas. And I'm in Kansas, and so I thought, well, I can get literally to her small town and talk to the librarian. But I had actually, no, my first choice was Tressie Souders. And Tressie Souders was the first African-American woman to write and direct film. And I dug for days. I went to her, she's also from Kansas, and I learned a lot of really interesting things, but I only came up with 2 pages. And I had to write a 14-page research paper. So that's when I switched to Eve. So I would still like to do that, and hopefully, since I have been promoted at the university, I will be able to apply for a grant and continue that work. I do want to keep building on that work. And I'd love to partner up with someone else in San Francisco. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. So Eve Unsell was known for adaptation. She was not in the index of any book that I could find. And so the first article I found was Fame for a Kansas Girl. And so what I loved about this is that I read more than one article and it kept referring to her as a girl. But then I found, well, she went and ran the British arm of Paramount, British Lasky, and I thought, that's interesting. You can be in charge, but you're still a girl. But that is the way it was, and sometimes still is. So I called my essay Smart Girl in Charge, because what I found out about her, she was so educated, and she had gone to New York, and she had studied theater, and so she was really good at story, and she did a lot of adaptation. And when she was in England, she trained a guy we kind of know about, Alfred Hitchcock. So I think if we know about Alfred, we should know about the person who was training him in the way of story and titles. My second subject was Bella Spewack, and she wrote with her husband Sam. They wrote Kiss Me Kate. They did a lot of, yeah, exactly. Yes, first Tony for a musical. But they were also correspondents. They were correspondents for Russia. And so a little known fact, or I actually was able to learn more about her. Her memoir was published after her death. It was called Streets. I would definitely encourage you to check it out. It was about moving to the Lower East Side as a child and surviving that. And so each chapter is a street that they lived on. But it was such a dark time, and so she wrote a lot of comedy because she wanted to, and we were talking about this in the panel last night, is taking that stuff that's so painful and turning it into humor. But I encourage you to read the book to learn more about these wonderful women, and I want to pass it on now. Thank you.